Oh, oh, oh. Ugh. Holler, holler, ballers. What's up? Ooh. How you doing, Gonzo? How you doing, Diamond Man? How you doing, Void RL34? Not stonks. Which I'm realizing, I don't know if that's added now that I'm realizing. Hang on. Copy. Start screen. Paste. End screen. Paste. Bing chilling. Also, I've seen a bunch of. I'm guessing that you reference the Bing Qiling. What she want? Bing Qiling. Is that right? The viral pronunciation of I like ice cream in Mandarin. Yeah, so I studied Mandarin for like 10 years. Um I took Mandarin for like 10 years because my mom, when I was growing up, was like, yeah, man, you take Mandarin, we go to the Olympics. I promise. And I was like, fucking done. Sent. Heard chef. Um, guess who didn't go to the fucking Beijing Olympics? This fucking guy or anyone in my family. Anyway, just saying. It was the great bait and switch of my life. But I ended up like absolutely falling in love with Mandarin. It's a beautiful language. It's really interesting. China's really interesting historically and linguistically and culturally. Like it's a really fascinating place. And I say fascinating not because I'm like, ooh, look at the China. It's more of like a um there's like a really immense depth and richness to Chinese history that's very actually when I went there one time. So like I didn't go to the Olympics, but I have been there a couple times. And one of them was for a school exchange, and the host family, the host student that I was staying with at one point was like, Chinese history is very vertical. Like it's all always happened right here. And Western history tends to be more horizontal, which is that kind of the story of like European expansionism is expansionism, right? We were going out and finding more territory and trying to grow our borders and blah blah. And like China, in terms of how it currently is, it talks about itself, which is a whole other conversation. Really has always been like what it is, the landmass that it is, and the richness of culture and history in East Asia is incredible. And I say East Asia because like Korea also has rich history. Mongolia has rich history. I mean Southeast Asia, Laos, Vietnam, Thailand, Japan, right? Like there's such depth to the cultural traditions and histories in those areas that like as Americans we like really don't. I don't know how to say this without sounding like a dick to Americans, but like Americans don't experience that. We don't have that depth of tradition, largely because we wiped it off the face of our map, or at least out of our cultural identity in many cases. And this is a very complicated topic, and so I'm getting like I'm speaking very broadly about things that are much more complicated than I'm making them sound like, but it's a really different place from the US, and I think it's a really fascinating like linguistically it's very tied into its history. So Bing chilling, it's Bing chilling. And I want to say that chilling is actually a transliteration of English, cream. So, and they do this with other words too. So, like the Chinese language does this with other words. So in Mandarin, Starbucks is Xingba, but Xing means star, and then Ba sounds like buck, which is fucking cool. And Japan, I think, is much like it's not a tonal language, and so it is easier to transliterate English words into Japanese language and like linguistic flow. Um, but there's still transliterations in the tonal language of Mandarin that are really fascinating, like Xingba um, and like Qiling for cream. The Japanese do that a lot too. Yeah, but but it's also because like they didn't necessarily have words for the like, and this happens in every language when you try and translate, right? Like, there's not necessarily a direct translation, and sometimes it's like, we could kind of approximate it with like a translation, or we could just like take your word and make it phonetically ours. And even it in I know enough about the phonetics of Japanese without knowing any of the language, because a couple of friends of mine have studied the language without that they really like, they when they transliterate words in Japanese, like, it really, Japanese as a language like makes it its own. And so they literally like make it into little Japanese words that like sound like the American word, which is really cool. Whereas Chinese tends to take things that sound like American words but don't necessarily have the same meaning. Like qiling like has meaning, but in that case, Bing Qiling is like, I think I might need to look this up because I don't know if Bing Qiling is the best. Xingba Ke I'm positive about, but Bing Qiling might not be the greatest example. Anyway, I mean, English is basically all that from German and French. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. Yeah. We've done the same thing. A lot of transliteration. Like languages develop and assimilate words all the time. So like, what the fuck is this song? Oh my god. All right, we're gonna be playing some Rocket League. Um, I've now added sound alerts to the starting soon and ending soon screen, so you should be able to use them now and see them on screen. Language is really cool to break down because it gives a good history too if you connect the dots. And I was saying this to somebody else recently that like, uh, the same way that we have like colloquial English and like regional colloquialisms, right? So like regional, like you have like Cajun English, which is kind of like a mix of English and French, that's been like southernized down in like Louisiana, or like you have kind of like Georgia drawl versus South Carolina southern accents type thing, and like they have different words and colloquialisms. We also are really idiomatic, like you're the bee's knees. Idioms, right? Idioms are really common in English, and it's very similar in Mandarin. It's a very idiomatic language, um, and it's almost all historical references to either like all art, um, literature, or history, and we actually share a lot of common idiomatic expressions between English and Chinese that were independently formed based on different origin stories, which like is also cool. Anyway, I'm gonna shut the fuck up now about language because it's really interesting to me, and I won't stop talking about it otherwise. I have to get my and water bottle. Hang on, I'll be right back. And as usual, I'm going to try to avoid eating on stream, but like that's always a shit show. Or no, wait, different word, crapshoot. It's always a crapshoot about whether or not I'm actually going to end up eating on stream. Because frankly, I like eating and I happen to be streaming. Let's get this tilted a little bit. There we go. There we go. We're also going to change our music. This music is just... I don't know. Let's do Night Drive. That sounds chill. I'm noticing Korean especially, they have a bunch of idioms based off of their folklore and mythology, but if you look into the history of them, you can find very similar ones across Japanese and even English. Well, and right, like, you know, like this is also like historical wisdom tends to overlap between cultures, right? Like there are things that you do and don't do kind of regardless of where geographically and historically you're placed in the world. But there are, or like kind of self-mastery things, so things about like how to motivate yourself or how to focus on a thing or things about common cognitive experiences among humans, like those tend to overlap kind of a thing. But like, for example, in English, this is literally where I get my, you know, like when you're in a language class, they give you like a name in that language kind of a thing that you get referred to by. Here's another little fun story. I was kind of the bane of my high school Mandarin teacher's existence in that I was just kind of a little shit and I would try to like figure out silly linguistic fuckery to like embarrass him kind of a thing because I'm an asshole. And, you know, whatever gets you interested in the language, except like, really? And so the idiom that I ended up pulling my name from is actually, it's a historical figure, which is Shuo Cao 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 Jiu Dao, which literally means if you talk about Cao Cao, Cao Cao will arrive, which in English would be speak of the devil. You speak of the devil and he shall arrive, kind of a thing. Cao Cao is a historical figure in China as like a general of an army at a time in, you know, I think pre and during the Warring States period in China's history, which is it's a very fascinating time of like the North versus the South. And there's a lot of like very cool history there. But Cao Cao is like a very well-known historical figure as a general in the army, of the army rather, for the Northern armies. And so when I read it when I was a high schooler, I was like, LOL, Cao Cao is the devil, right? Because I one-to-one'd it. I was like, yep, got it. Cao Cao's the devil, herd chef. And there are definitely like plenty of stories where Cao Cao's the villain. There's also plenty of stories where Cao Cao is like a clever or an ingenious tactics master. So I also really appreciate some of the history in for like learning about Chinese history in a lot of those classes, because like there's actually, I think, a lot of nuance in Chinese history for like there's a lot of ethically gray characters in Chinese historical recollections of events, which I think is really fascinating. Because I think the US tends to like patriotize or not patriotize someone, right? Like they tend to heroificate or they tend to villainize. And in a given story, right, like we all play roles. But I think what was interesting is that like Cao Cao can be both respected and feared in a single story kind of a thing. And that we tend to like our history simpler in this country. Which, you know, we could get into propagandizing cultural experience if we wanted to, but I think like it's really interesting how different current modern nations teach their histories and talk about their historical figures, because it is not, there is a standard in terms of like who you tend to call historical and cultural figures, but not necessarily how you talk about them as a society. And I think that's pretty cool to look at. And just like America's so young. I think that's the other thing that it really gave me a lot of appreciation for, is that like, or appreciation of, not necessarily for, in that like America is, culturally, we're kind of flat. And I don't mean that to mean that there isn't culture in the United States. Like, we're a melting pot. We have a lot of different kind of groups of people that make up our very complex American identity and blah, blah, blah. But we're kind of flat in the sense that it's a very short history that we're pulling from as a nation. And do we have lots of interesting historical things, and sometimes terrible, tragic, sometimes great and heroic things that we've done throughout our short history? Absolutely. But like, I think looking at nations that have much more depth to their kind of geographical histories is like really quite fascinating in a way that we kind of miss out on. Anyway, I'm ranting at this point. I'm getting into my Rocket League training practice. Was watching a dribbling video. Oh my god, it works. Okay, all right. When you're flicking, you want... Okay. When you're flicking, do you see how the back line right now is on my back wheels? So like, right... Do you see how that, like, the back of the circle is on my back wheels? Oh, those are like my top level thoughts. So for flicks, you want the ball to be sitting in between your front and that line. You want that line to be about there. You want it in front of your rear tires, kind of on the back third of your car. That's where you're going to get your flip angle. Okay. So it's moving forward. So, right. I'm not good at maintaining it. But do you see how I kept up with the ball there? So then that's going to help a lot. I was looking up flick tutorials because I feel like that's why yep, there it is. Oh my god, I missed it. No. It was right positioning though. Okay, so that's... Do you see how I'm staying much closer to the ball as long as I'm checking if my dose of motion sickness? Welcome to Motion Sickness, the game. How may I help you? I suppose I could probably help by not giving you motion sickness, but no! So there's a much longer conversation here, Gonzo, in terms of how do you get it to really rest there? But the note, I think, is fair, which is essentially you want that line when you go for a flick, any flick, and there's subcategories and sub-positioning. I didn't keep going around. Keep going around. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Okay. No, see, it was rolling forward. So you almost want it to be rolling back toward the back of your car when you launch it. That was too far back. So it's almost like you want to let it roll forward and then catch up to it, kind of a thing. And then flick. Because... yeah, you see how it launches it forward, but you stay closer. And I'm not doing a great job with the breezy flicks right now, but you get the idea, I think. And I need to flip cancel the end of the breezy. Oh! I love the look, though. Still a little off center there, so I need to be more on center. And then the other thing that he was talking about, which I think is interesting, was something called a cradle. I'm not getting the full breezy motion on that. Hang on. Yeah, I'm cutting off the roll too early. I really need to let the roll go all the way through. Yellow. Okay. But he's talking about the cradle, which is when you jump up, you want to kind of... Oh, God, that's a pipe. Thank you for that, 49. Hello. Hi there. So, yeah, that's a new audio you can play with. He talks about the cradle, which is where it's here, and then when you jump up, you want to kind of cradle the ball on the... So, hey, dragons, fuck you. I love you, but fuck you. Yeah, for real. I might have to remove that sound alert just because of fucking 49. It's loud. That is a loud alert. So I think I'm even leaving it too long in that case. No, I'm not. I'm leaving it too short. So I need to be slower about it. Okay. All right, that's fine. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. There was a flick. Okay, I may have gotten some semblance of how to flick, actually, from that single watch through that video, which is cool. That's exciting. Or at least a better idea than I had before. That was a good pinch. Nope, too far forward. Not quite. I need to hold that. How about no? With my 150,000 points, I could play that alert 75 times back to back. Well, yeah, but then you're not going to maximize the scare factor, which, like, you know. But you do you, man, if you really want to. I wonder how many it would take before you'd lose mod status. How many would I be willing to tolerate before I'm like, you know, fuck you, actually. Oh, okay. We're getting closer, folks. We're getting closer to breezies. So if it's too far back, you'll hit it with your come around. If it's too far forward, it'll go too far forward and you'll lose it, right? It'll launch too far ahead of you. See, like that? If you manage to hit the sweet spot for the flick, you can get some pretty good... Okay, so hang on. Hang on! So I was slowing down there too much. You really have to, like, match your speed in a way that I'm not clearly... I haven't figured out yet. But we're getting there. We're going to start figuring this out. Ooh. Okay. Oh my god. No, the goal is to rupture eardrums. I mean, is it that loud? I suppose there is. It's going up into the red on that one, so that one does make me a little nervous. that that it's, and like my mic goes into the red too if I'm really projecting my dude, but I don't want it to be that loud. Anyway, back to training. So I think, oh yeah, you gotta practice, Diamond Man. We talking about practice? Why have you been practicing something? Tell us more. Okay, so it's kind of a clean takeoff. Like honestly, the tornado flip takeoff of the breezy is like kind of the best takeoff anyway for dribbling from a flick position. It seems. It's a deep cut NBA reference. Practice? We talking about practice? Yes, we're talking about practice. Isn't there a Ted Lasso bit where he's like, yes, we're talking about practice because the practice is where everyone else is, kind of a thing on your team, practicing to get better type thing? Is that a reference to the NBA thing? Yeah. Yep. Because I saw him put side by side, and I was like, oh, damn, that's like a really deep cut reference for a Ted Lasso speech. Okay. All right. So this is going to ruin me for every other mechanic in this game. So when you're going for breezies, I would say that you want to take it further up, which means that you really want to be, when it's on your back tires, I think, is when you want to be jumping and doing the flip, or the flick. Because otherwise it goes a little bit too far forward, and if you're not, obviously it depends on where you are in relation to the ball and how fast you're going. But you see how that kind of just rolled off the front of my car? Interesting. Starting to get the takeoff a little bit. It's more delayed than your typical flick, which is kind of why I like it, right? It lets you be a little bit more. And I think I'm wrong. I think the boost is kind of what's fucking me up. Remember yesterday I was like, I think you need to like boost to keep up with it. I don't think I was right. I think I was just jumping at the wrong time. Because see how it puts me above it? And like ahead of it? I think I just need to be launching it at the right, like when we're really matching speeds with the ball. Because that was nearly a good follow through there. Okay, let me get back to like controlled attempts. Because I really need to. It wasn't a breezy, but it was a kind of funky flick there. Wasn't really a breezy there. Oh, my B button just fully stuck down. That is not good news. That is not where I want to be. I'm getting too focused on what the ball is doing and not focused enough on what my car is doing. Like, that is an interesting flick, but it's not a breezy. Because you got to end with that musty at the end. That was kind of, I mean, it wasn't an actual flick. It didn't stay on top of my car, but I got the hit. No, bad. And again, bad. So I'm doing the tornado just fine there, but then I'm not actually doing the breezy part of it. Which is, it turns out, for a breezy flick, fairly important. Who would have thunk? Because I'm getting too caught up on my boost. That was kind of, I mean, it was terrible. But we're starting to get there. I think what I'm mostly learning is that it needs to be a little bit further back than I was expecting. Oh. And then I need to be really careful about not losing the musty on the back end. Oh, I didn't pull straight back. Hang on. I think that might be it, is that I'm not pulling straight back. Among other things. But when I do get the motion right... Oh! Oh... Yeah, I think that might actually be what I'm noticing, is that when I don't pull straight back, I fuck up. I mean, obviously. But then I don't aim right. It's like, no shit. But, that's a tough, it's a lot of flicking to, like, get right, you know? And that's a tough, maybe I just need to be pulling it harder to... No, bad. Oh, bummer. Okay. That was decent. It wasn't actually a breezy, but it wasn't not a breezy. I mean, obviously it has to be one or the other, but yeah, it was bad. Okay, hang on. One more. Nope. One more. I like the enthusiasm, at least. Maybe it's that I need to be pushing myself with boost over to the side. Wasn't a breezy, but... Oh! That was... It was down to the ground. That was not anything impressive. But it was progress, which I suppose is impressive. That was a step backwards. But but we're starting to get the sense of it. Maybe. We're starting to get a sense that that is, like, tornado flipping the ball up is immensely powerful. Because it keeps you kind of right on the ball. That is a powerful thing. Kinda. Nope, pulled it too far back. There it was. So I guess, do I need to be... Yeah, I need to be canceling that effectively. See how I end up pointed up? That's the full breezy, is then canceling that musty so that you end up... You get the musty and you can stay right underneath it. That wasn't a very good one. Alright, the areas are looking fine, I guess. I need to be canceling and then dealing with the rest of the yeah. So I gotta get that cancel included in the breezy. Because if I can't get that, it's all kind of moot. If I'm not canceling that backflip, then... And I might even be canceling too early there. Because I want to get the upward... There it is. I know what it is. It's, I'm canceling and pulling right or left, which is misaiming my car. And then I don't know how to correct very well while using air roll right. Oh, I didn't cancel effectively. Didn't cancel at all. Didn't cancel effectively. If I don't hold that front down And if I push any direction, it pushes me off, so... Yeah, I really need to hold that. Okay. Canceled too early. Canceled too late. And then didn't hold the cancel long enough. That is a very technical move, I'm not gonna lie. And I think when I cancel forward, I have a tendency to cancel to one side, which is to the right, which in this case would be to the left, technically. That's how it's pushing me, so without boost, just doing it. See, I didn't cancel that one effectively. Yeah, dude, tornado flips might just be the play for flicks generally. Like, look at that pickup. Right? You can get a very good flick off that. That might be the actual thing. Could be wrong. Yo! Thank you for the sub, dinos. Mwah.
The cheese tax. The cheese tax.
The cheese tax. The cheese tax. Yes, Bubby, the cheese tax. It is the cost of doing business. Oh! And then we hit that. Lamau. Oh, yeah, I think, dude, I think this might, I'm going to ruin myself with this over the next, like, week and a half. Where all I want to do is tornado flicks. Like, ground to air kind of stuff. But I suck at dribbling. Would you like a twos partner? Sure, man. I mean, I'm just free playing at this point, to be honest. I don't need any partner right now, but yeah, I'm down to run some casuals for warm up and stuff. I don't know actually what I'm planning to. Oh, you know what we have to run? I have to run tournaments, dude. Yeah, are you down to run tournaments? I'm not going to say that we're going to win, but that's what I need to be doing. I'm pushing for that achievement because it's my last Rocket League achievement. Always. All right. It's tournament run. That's what this Friday is comprised of. Bird shield. Yeah, man. Those tornado spins are like also really good for the cookser pinches. If you can figure out how exactly the run up works. Yeah, I mean, look at that power, dude. Can I go under the floor? Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'll pull you up. But no, you have to join general, and then I have to pull you up, and that's left over from getting fucked with by randos that join the Discord. That was early days stream, but we got random. Like, you showed up, you know, tilted as fuck, and you were like, man, this guy's actually pretty cool. Yeah, that did not happen for the first 4 months of me streaming. Mostly it was people showing up and being like, you're fucking trash, even though I just dunked on them in a Diamonds 2 game. And like, Diamond 2 isn't even that good, but like, you know, like if you just got dunked on, fuck yourself. But some of them were really fucked up. They would like, hop in a chat and then just hop into all the like voice chats and like shout slurs until we banned them, and then they would make a new account on Discord and come back. It was like it was big trash behavior. So now we have a locked voice channel. This guy has fucking ideas. Yeah, I highly recommend, like, if you're someone who goes live and you have particularly, and like obviously you are, but for anyone watching, if you go live on any format in a Discord channel, like, lock that shit and let in people. You know, maybe your mods have access to like pull people in for you so that you don't have to distract yourself with that kind of a thing. But like, I haven't done that, and it's not that I don't trust my mods, it's mostly just that I'm lazy. So yes, do that, because you just never know when you like really want to have a moment of uninterrupted rantability, and like, it's your channel, you should be allowed to do that. Go on. I know, I'm trying, dude. I'm fucking trying. I don't know that it's actually going to go anywhere. Like, I think you've seen a couple times now, if you've been watching, like, I am getting the impression that tornado flicks really are the way to flick. Because, like, it puts you right into a position where you're, like, upside down and on the ball if you manage to get the takeoff right. And you can get little follow-up touches, like left and right, depending on how you position yourself. But the actual breezy, dude, I like, truly, I think what I'm fucking up is that when I flip cancel the musty flick on the end of it, I push a little bit front right or a little bit front left, and my car's like, yeet, in that direction. And that fucks me. Yeah, are you... Sensitivity. Mm-hmm. I think it's aerial sensitivity, because it's not the dodge that's going wrong. It's the, like, I'm getting the straight up and down dodge. It's the cancel push. So when I'm pushing up to cancel the backflip, I like push too far right or left. Yeah, I think what I probably, and I used to play on 10 sensitivity for like no fucking reason. And then even recently I was playing on 710, and then for a while I was playing on 420 because that's funny. But I recently changed my aerial sensitivity to like 2.2. And it is crazy the difference that makes. You're kidding. Yeah, just like, even if you make a mistake on your aerial, like pushing in a direction not cleanly, like it moves slow enough that you can easily correct it and notice it before it becomes a big momentum. Yeah, right? Like, higher's better, right? And it's like, no, apparently pros play between like 1 and 2.5. Like most pro players. And it's the skill, as skill improves in pro play, it is raising slightly, but we're talking like 0.3 at a time, like per season. It's not going up by full values. Go on. Yeah. Well, that's the skill, isn't it? Like, right, how wide that is, kind of a thing. That's interesting. Kind of sounds like hacks, but I'm not going to report you to Epic. I mean, like, it's the same thing as I mean, technically it's like sensitivity preferences, so no, it's not really hacked. But isn't there like a whole debate going on in like Apex, I think particularly was part of it. Like Chronos got banned and things. And obviously Chronos is a much more complicated version of that, but it's like advanced controller mechanism controls that you like don't normally have access to, and that like whether or not that counts as... I'm not saying that this is the same, but it's what it reminds me of. Oh yeah. Yep. Let me just... Yeah, so I'm the kind of sick and twisted that I, instead of thinking like, man, maybe there's a software I can get for this, what I've been thinking about is maybe I take a little file and I find true north, true south, and true right and left, and put a little notch in the container, in the plastic. Stonks. What up, Lance Pie? You know, it's the same thing as like Counter-Strike players, like taping the middle of their screen for headshots, no scope. And you could even have a training controller, right, that like is carved that way, just so that you get much more familiar with like what the muscle memory feeling should be, and then start to use it unguided. But that was my thought of like maybe just do a true north and south to get it really on point every time. I also, and this is just my personal opinion, but I do think that Xbox controllers, I don't know what you play on, but Xbox controllers are worse for Rocket League than PlayStation controllers. Because on a PlayStation controller, both sticks are equidistant from your resting position with your hands. Like they're both right in the middle for both hands. Which actually, it puts it closer to your resting position for your thumb. Like your natural just hand holding something. You actually end up having to reach more on an Xbox controller, in my opinion. So it's activating a different muscle group and like making you work different, you know, it's different muscles. Whether or not they're overdeveloped or underdeveloped is really dependent on a person. So like if you've been playing on Xbox a long time, it might throw you off. But I started on PlayStation controllers and I was like, damn, it is different. Right. Right. Well, and I'm kind of the same, right? Like since PS3, I think I've had an Xbox exclusively, right? So like that's been typically what I prefer. And I literally bought the PlayStation controllers for Rocket League on PC for the stream because I was told like, yo, listen, it's a better controller. And I was like, okay. And it is true, I think, that it has lower input lag. Wow. What up, 49? Why are you wowing at me? But supposedly PlayStation controllers had lower input lag. But I also do wired controllers, so like that shouldn't really matter. Well, and to be honest with you, like Bluetooth is good. It's not that good. Like if I'm changing my other settings to get as low of input lag as possible, and I'm playing on PC to get as low of input as possible, like a wireless connection is always going to be inferior to the wired millisecond delay. Because that's just like travel time. And electricity, it turns out, physically travels pretty fast. Right. Right. Yeah. And I've already got so many fucking wires that like just kind of intuitively makes sense. I'm getting closer and closer to finally changing my left bumper to... Ha! You're telling me I didn't get flip reset on that? Fuck you! Left bumper to my air roll left, because right now it's still free roll, and it's definitely hurting me. Like, I really need to learn how to do aerials with air roll left and right instead of having a... Yo, Convicted Tickler, how you doing? Also, PS5 controllers have USB-C for wired, which has a higher transfer rate. Yep, that too. Although, I will say, I have an aftermarket Gully Kit controller, which also does USB-C, so like... And I think Microsoft, with the newest Xbox controllers, are now USB-C. Yep. Yeah. Because of the paddles specifically, or stick drift? Oh, wow. Grip too tight. I'm the same way, and it's part of the reason that I got stick drift in my early Rocket League days was that I'd like really throw the stick when I didn't need to be. And it's part of the reason I got this controller is because it's magnetic rather than mechanical. Which, you know, haven't noticed stick drift since. I still get button stick. That is... I need to stop eating while I play, but, in terms of the actual stick drift, I have not had any issues with this controller. Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, yeah, right? As long as it stays going. I would like scuff controllers are what I hear a lot about in terms of like, if you need paddles, like go get a scuff. Their fucking warranty is ridiculous. And so like you buy one and then you can always send it back in to get fixed. But like, they're also, I think, still doing mechanical for their, like, I've blown out so many sticks. Which is wild because they're supposed to be like the high end option. Oof. Yeah. We've got an 8 minutes till a 2v2 second chance tournament. And I'll just do free play in the meantime and do some of my actual warm-ups. Don't think I told you all the other day, but I got my wisdom tooth removed, so just been chilling. I feel like we should be hearing the other guy, but we don't because I didn't click into the fucking voice channel. God damn it. There we go. Does he exist now? Because I bet he does.
Am I real? Am I a real boy?
Yeah, is he a real boy? More at 6. Oh!
Yeah, if this Turtle Beach ever breaks, I think I'm gonna try that one. I forgot what it's called, but I've seen it. It's like modular. It comes with like the little cubes that have all the things.
Yeah.
I want to try that one out because I've heard a lot of good things about it for Rocket League.
Interesting. Keep us posted.
I'm
always looking for more crutches to use to make myself better and not actually have to learn things.
Yeah, I like the idea of that because it looks like a solid controller, and I can also put the thumbsticks where I want them to.
Yeah, yep.
But if you're a PlayStation player, you can also put them where you want to.
Right.
Yeah. So far, Turtle Beach is my favorite. Have you heard of Hex Gaming?
No. Nope. But I'm sure I should have by now.
I don't know. That it's really expensive controller, so I thought it'd be super nice. That one had insane stick drift right out of the box.
That's too bad.
It was very sad. Sad day. I just want them to make a chip that they like put in my head or something, so I can just tell the car what to do.
Have you seen that lady that streams with brain impulse controls?
That's
because like
wild.
they're on it, dude. She literally
wild.
plays. She keeps her hands in frame so that she can prove like, no, I'm not using my controller like below the desk. And she's got like a whole setup that reads her neural impulses, and she has to custom map it to controls, obviously, because there's no like controller support for that.
I wonder how she like does that.
I'm pretty curious about it too.
Like,
But she beat Elden Ring, I think, or
crazy.
is playing Elden Ring. Maybe, I don't know how recent that video was.
I know this, like, there's a 99% chance it isn't the case, but what if it was just like, if I think of ice cream, like dodge left, you know?
Well, and right, I'm sure that you need to figure out like on the brain scanning device like what correlates to what, right? So like,
Yeah.
it could be something like that where I will say that in all her videos she's like clearly locked the fuck in, like zero blinks, you know, kind of thing. And I'm like, yeah, you probably have to think like real fucking hard about it before it's like, oh yeah, he's just trying to do the thing, which like in a game like Elden Ring sounds like such a pain in the dick.
Yeah. Like, oh, I can't even imagine. I can barely focus for like 10 minutes at a time.
Right. I can barely focus on the shot I'm currently performing, you know?
So,
Yeah,
right,
man.
how am I gonna air roll this? Man, I really want tacos.
Same. God damn it. Why have you done this to me? Yeah, I really do think that so he talks about the cradle. I keep saying I think it's Pikmin or something Pikmin on YouTube. He has like the master guide. If you Google how to dribble or how to flick, he has like the master guide to flicks in 2023 or something. And he talks about cradling the ball, which he was like, let's be really clear. Like, I have not seen this mentioned in another tutorial, so I'm like kind of surprised, which I actually agree with now that I'm kind of figuring out what he's talking about. Is when you hit the ball the first time, you have to like, or you almost like want to sink the front of your car so that you don't knock it away from yourself when you get air. So like if you're pushing it on the front part of your car, when you jump, the front of your car, like because it hits the ball, gets pushed down slightly.
Yeah.
He calls that the cradle.
Huh.
And says at one point, like, listen, there's a certain amount of this that happens naturally because when you jump and it touches the ball, it's going to push the nose of your car down. But there's also shots, like as you get into more difficult mechanics and more difficult flicks, that you actually need to like understand kind of how that mechanism works and how to like not hit the ball too hard so that you don't like knock it away from your car. And I'm starting to get a sense that the tornado flicks might be like kind of interestingly like the perfect cradle.
Huh. It sounds a lot like that video, like the theory of air roll. That came out a while ago. It was like 2 hours long.
I don't know that I've actually seen that one though, to be honest. Who's it by?
I don't know. Like, I have let me see. My friend sent it to me, the link. He watched it and he said he stands by that video. And
Interesting.
Then I asked him to like name 3 like notes about the video, and he's like, "Oh, I don't remember anything." So,
blacked the whole thing out, but it's great. Okay, buddy.
I was like,
For
you're gonna
sure.
have to convince me a little bit more for a 2-hour video.
Well, and is he like GC or something, or?
No, he's like, yeah, I think he's like Diamond 2 or Diamond 3.
Oh yeah, definitely gonna need more qualification there, bud. Like hit a reset on me in game, and then yeah, fair enough. You get air rolls more than I do.
Let's see. I'm trying to scroll and find it. I don't know. I can't find it.
Removed.
Yeah.
Oh, this violates YouTube's content guidelines. It's too fucking smart. Too many big brain plays.
So this is Rocket League. Nobody asked for your doctorate's thesis on this game.
Yeah. Sorry, sir, you're using too much science. I want to hear stupid meme bullshit. Okay, yep. Confirmed tornado flip is the best way to cook, sir. Fresh out of the box. Tornado flip is best. You can get crazy fucking power. I kind of hate how useful the tornado flip is.
I might need to learn it. I don't know. My mechanics are kind of awful because I haven't been playing this game for very long, so I haven't really had time to learn too much.
Yeah. Also, we're getting into the tournament now.
Oh, am I in your party?
I fucking hope so. No.
No!
Fuck. Yeah, nope. Sorry, I'm going into the tournament. My bad, dude.
It's okay. Have
I
fun.
was already generating the bracket. Ow. What's up, dude? Yes,
You
hello.
have to win it for me.
I'm gonna have to. Yeah, we cold. Do some stretches or something. All right, I got a Psycho Rex on my team.
Very nice. All right, I'll mute so you can focus on your turn.
We'll see about that. I think you're giving me far too much credit for being able to focus at all. I'm gonna go for it. Right, you're not in the game. It's unhelpful for me to make call-outs. Oh. Oh, Psycho! Oh my god. I missed entirely. As did they. Psycho? Way to follow up, Psycho. It's in! There's the first goal. Nice. I'm gonna follow him up here. Terrible? Just handed it to him. Just told him I'm awful. Heads up. Thank you for the lurk, Convicted Tickler. It helps. Going after it? Oh, damn. He beat me on that one. What? I got the touch! I backed up so I could get the touch and everything, and apparently I know if I'm lagging or what, but that was big horse shit. I don't think this is going to be the tournament, folks. We've got 4 minutes almost, but it's 1-4 very quickly. We got the first goal, but from there on in, it's been pretty rough. God damn, what a carry. Oh, honey. Yeah, he saw me run out of boost. That sucks. Oh. Whoa. I didn't even look at the ball. That was a mistake. It's taking our boost. I didn't get the touch I needed there. I needed to put power on it, and I just didn't. They're getting a little bit turned around, but not in a way that I think is going to give us 3 goals here in a minute and a half. Certainly not if I do that.